Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Damian Nelson coming to you here from the MaxSportsOnline.com studios. Thanks for joining us again for yet another WWE Raw wrap-up. Raw this week emanating from Beaumont, Texas. And it is a show that is headlined by the contract signing of Triple H and John Cena for the WrestleMania main event. Let's talk about the Raw that was, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good this week, yet another opening segment that was entertaining, to say the very least, featuring Vince and Shane McMahon. How priceless was the Vince McMahon public service announcement talking about kids don't do drugs. So fun when they can pick on themselves. More on that whole segment later. Very well done with the drug test, the doctor, and then the piss getting thrown on the McMahons. Again, very, very well done segment. And week 2 of good McMahon-Shawn Michaels interaction. I was one of the first that said this seemed like Austin McMahon Part 3. And it's actually coming together pretty good. The Divas, solid storyline, progression with the Divas. The key thing here, folks, you saw the fans reacting significantly to a Divas match. You typically don't see that. That shows you right then and there that there's been solid storyline progression, and WWE has done it right finally when it comes to the Divas. Thought that was another good part of Raw. The King's cowboy hat reference. Talked about the last time he sat in that chair next to somebody with a cowboy hat on was when JR was around, when Cowboy Troy came out. And it was just a hint of what we would find out later. Good old JR coming back for Saturday night's main event. It had been rumored on the internet. He will be back for Saturday night's main event to call at least one matchup, the Shane McMahon and Shawn Michaels match. Again, that's coming Saturday on NBC. We'll bring you a wrap-up right here on MaxSportsOnline.com just after that event goes off the air, 9 o'clock Central Time. The final good thing on the show, I'm starting to like the Triple H John Cena interaction. They're building a good match going into WrestleMania. Now ask yourself a question. For those of you who say it should be Edge, and I was one of those people, and I might still be one of those people, could Edge and John Cena still be building as well as Triple H and John Cena are building towards the main event at WrestleMania? I'm not so sure that that could be the case. Let's move on to the bad and the good, the bad, the ugly for this week's Raw. Where was Goldust's entrance? Granted, it was available on WWE.com, but Goldust, fan favorite, should not be already in the ring when you come back from a commercial break. All right, let's just make that be said. Goldust is somebody who you want to. The entrance is 90%. It's not fair to Dustin Reynolds. It's about 20% of the performance that is Goldust, and I was disappointed to see Goldust already in the ring after we came back from a commercial break. And whose bright idea was it to not just once but twice tonight put 4 people in the booth, in the broadcast position? Okay, 3 is already crowded. However, Jerry Lawler, Joey Styles, and the coach seemingly are getting into a good groove. But you don't add a Cowboy Troy, which actually was done well. You don't add a Ric Flair, which was, could have been better. I liked him talking about Rush Street in Chicago. Been there, done that a couple of times. But you don't put 4 people in that booth. It just gets clunky. The ugly on Raw was making a mockery. The WWE made a mockery of their own recently announced wellness program by having this angle about a drug test on Raw. They want credibility. They want to, as a company, design these programs to give themselves some credibility and make themselves look accountable for the actions of their superstars. Yet then what do you see? Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon come out and do a parody of that same program. Didn't think it was the smartest thing. However, remember, I did enjoy the actual angle, but from a business standpoint, I'm not sure if that was the best option for WWE at the time. There was only one "Oh Baby" tonight from the coach. So that is still the ugly part of Raw, the coach, every time he uses an "Oh baby." Folks, a good Raw. I thought it had solid storyline progression leading into not only Saturday night's main event, but also leading into WrestleMania 22. WWE is hot, red hot right now with their storyline progression and leading into the upcoming events. Saturday night's main event, as I said, and WrestleMania 22. We always want to know what you think, and we will talk about it on this week's edition of Max Sports Online. Remember, the show is updated every single week, MaxSportsOnline.com, and we will talk about what your feedback is for this week's Raw. Send your own wrap-ups in, folks, and we'll talk about them on air. Thanks for tuning in to MaxSportsOnline.com. We'll see you after for the show this week, and then after Saturday night's main event for the immediate wrap-up of the show. Damian Nelson signing off for MaxSportsOnline.com.